So I decided to do another bearing check just to see how it went after all my testing. And interestingly enough, this side, which the pulley side, which I had run lots of oil through and had replaced some of the spacers, it does not look like there's much of any oil. I mean, there's little bits of dirty oil there. You can kind of see right along in this area, but everything else looks pretty clean. I see more evidence of dirt in the other side, but maybe I just didn't clean that one sufficiently when I had it open the first time. I don't remember. Or I had to knock this one gently with a hammer to get this one loose. This one was stuck again on the pulley side, but this is also the one that had gotten hot. Well, hotter, 140 some degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to check and see how it looks underneath. So we'll see how that goes. I'm also probably going to wipe this up before I'm done and put it back together mostly clean. Wiping the oil off, you can see there are little wear marks in the shaft on the non-pulley side. Like those discolorations are on the actual shaft surface, not something that wipes off. There's some of that on the pulley side, but it's not too bad. Or at least it's more consistent. The pulley side does have a scratch line right in this area on half the shaft. It's only on half the shaft, and the other half is better. But the non-pulley side, those scratch marks and wear areas look like they go the whole way around. So now I gotta lift up the shaft and see what it looks like underneath. Alright, lifting that up. You can see there's the felt on both sides of the shaft, and there's dirt along the bottom. I should say, yeah, there's dirt and or wear marks in the babbet along, and there's the bottom section that I'm guessing that is, yeah, that's the same. That looks to be the same kind of felt that's on the top. Those are definitely worn wear marks in the babbet. It all looks wet with oil, so that's a plus. But the one thing here on the non-bearing side, this felt fills up most of this insert hole. On the pulley side, we have the same darker wear marks, but the felt is pushed off to the side versus being centered. There's a large gap and hole down in here. So it may be that that's part of the problem, is that, let's see, it would be rotating in this direction. So I guess the fact that it's all up on this side and there is oil the whole way across, it was getting oiled, but with this big gap down in here, I don't know if that's as ideal. And it may be some of this oil or some of this dirt is the filter material getting pulled up into the bearing. That's always possible too. But yeah, similar to the non-pulley side, these dark marks are scratches in the actual bearing itself and there's slightly deeper grooves, not real bad, but slightly deeper grooves and stuff in this area. So, like I said, I don't know. I'm definitely not an expert at babbet bearings. I know a lot of this stuff at the outside edge is just dirt and goo, because that's accumulated sawdust mess. And here you can see the rounded edge of the inner bearing that matches the rounded edge on the top section on both sides. So both sides have the rounded section, and that rounded section corresponds to a rounded section on the shaft. So that would help sort of cushion it and keep it aligned better, I'm guessing. Or maybe it was just easier to machine. It does look like it had oil all along it. So it was not that it was running dry when I was doing my tests. I don't know how much previous owner ran it dry, but it looks like it was not running dry on my tests. And I also see, because this is the lower cap and the upper cap for the pulley side, there's wear marks and both ends of the lower cap and a little bit of the center, or scratch marks. On the upper cap, it all looks like there's sideways marks, except for just one little spot in this outer edge looks smooth. So it's possible that the top, because it's being pulled down with the belts, that it doesn't really run much on this top, that it's all pressed on the bottom, which kind of makes sense. And so it's only really running on the pulley side and this very outer edge, and it may just be that it's worn more in this bottom. So maybe it may be that this bottom is worn a decent amount. I'm not sure. Without cleaning all this up, I can't do measurements. And you can see on the non-pulley side, there's this goo section. So let's see. Let's make the mistake of clearing an equivalent mess on this other side. So if we look in here, we pull away some of that gunk. Oop, don't mess up the felt. That would cause problems too. Okay. So, yeah, that doesn't look, well, I don't really know. It seems like there's bearing material there. I don't know how much is supposed to be there, but that's about half the stick there, so it's about half the stick on this side. So it's at least about the same amount. It's all old and or new and interesting. Yeah, it's cool. I think it's cool at least. We will dump this up as another video and hopefully somebody else will think it's cool. Or maybe if anybody does watch this and they have opinions or they have more information or they say, hey, I know you should really replace that pad because it really needs to be the whole way across and there should not be gaps, or hey, you need to do this, or hey, I recommend, I found this information on this site, or any useful information, please post it in the comments. I would appreciate it. I only learn and know what I've run into, and I haven't run into everything. I never do it, but we'll say like, comment, subscribe. Sure, why not? It's a YouTube video. That's what you're supposed to do, right?